The Act, it stars Patricia Arquette and Joey King.
Yeah, who are both nominated for Emmys tonight. Oddly, maybe we'll do like Emmy predictions at the end, even though this is going out after the Emmys, just to do something at the end. Joey King is nominated for leading actress in a limited series or movie, I think they called it. And she's nominated against Patricia Arquette, but Patricia Arquette for Escape at Dane Mora. Patricia Arquette is nominated for supporting actress for The Act.
Okay, interesting. So this is a 10-parter that originally broadcast on Hulu. Yeah, we love that. It is available here. I said it was through a frustrating route. So Amazon Prime Video, if you're a member of that, they have now channels on there where you can pay for extra content. They've got one for reality TV called Hey You. They've got ITV Hub stuff on there you can pay for. And this comes under the Stars Play umbrella, despite not being on Stars in the US and being on Hulu.
Oddly, American Gods, which is on Stars, is on normal Amazon
I don't know how it all works. It's bizarre. So The Act is a true story of Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her mother Dee Dee, who throughout their lives had fooled people into believing that Gypsy, this young girl, was ill with all sorts of things.
Well, not making everyone making Gypsy believe as well.
Yeah, her mother made her believe she had muscular dystrophy. She made her believe she had leukemia. She made her believe she was a lot younger than she was, in fact. And it's a bizarre, true life case of Munchausen's by proxy.
How does it feel to be in this house?
Well, Gypsy and I have always loved fairy tales. But you know, I really didn't believe in happy endings in the real world, not until now. It's almost like we're in a Disney movie.
We love Disney movies.
Have you seen Enchanted? That princess in the real world?
No, I didn't.
Oh, God. I got off track. What was the question?
How did it feel, Dee Dee, when you found out that Habitat for Humanity was going to build this house just for you and Gypsy?
Getting this house has been a dream come true. I don't like to dwell on the past, but when we were homeless after Katrina, if it wasn't for her, I tell you, I don't know what I would have done. That girl, she is stronger than she looks. I was born to be her mama.
And are you excited to be here and make new friends, Gypsy?
You bet she is.
It would be great if we could hear from Gypsy on how she's feeling.
Oh, of course. Hon, are you excited to be here to make new friends?
Well, my mom already is my best friend. But the funny thing is, a few years ago, she had gave me this little glass house. And she said, one day, this will be yours. And now it finally is.
That was great. My producers are gonna love this.
Oh, that's good to hear. I get nervous about these things.
Are you kidding? You guys were awesome.
Was I good?
You were perfect.
And I don't know whether we should talk about the end result of the story. Because the best...
Or shall we just say spoilers now, and then you can skip if you want, because you've got the time codes on...
Yes, I do.
If you go to the website, the time codes are all on there or on iTunes.
So this is the story of Gypsy Rose and their mother, Dee Dee, who move into this small community. They have a house built for them with a ramp. So
a habitat for humanity, isn't it? That sort of thing.
Yeah. And Gypsy makes friends with a next-door neighbour who is a lot older than her, played by Anna Sophia Robb, who you may have seen in the Johnny Depp version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory all those years ago.
Or The Way Back.
Love that film.
Yeah, it's good.
I wish I hadn't said Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I can't even edit that to make it sound...
Toni Collette was in that film as well.
Yes, she was. I love that film.
Well, just a connection to the next.
In fact, if you want to watch that as well, we highly recommend it.
That'll be on Netflix or something, won't it?
I don't think it
Or
is at
Amazon
the
Prime.
moment. Yeah, probably on an obscure channel. They could pay extra for. But it is such a compelling story, and the performances are just out of this world.
If we are spoiling it, should we say that it begins with the Anna Sophia Robb character Lacey and her mum, Mel, played by Chloe Sevigny, ringing the police because they hadn't heard from Dee Dee. So they call the police go into the house. They find Dee Dee dead and Gypsy missing. And it sort of unravels then to the beginning of them going to the neighbourhood and Gypsy sort of discovering more about herself, let's say, shall we?
Yeah, that's
finds out she doesn't need the wheelchair, sort of starts discovering her sexuality through her friendship with Lacey, and then gets more and more determined that Dee Dee's holding her back.
Yeah.
And it ends with her meeting a chap online called Nick, who's got mental health issues, and convincing him, I think he's schizophrenic, isn't he, to kill Dee Dee, and then they go on the run, and it ends with the trial of both of them.
So I couldn't tell you how much I enjoyed this, and how much I thought Joey King and Patricia Arquette were just spellbinding. Joey King, because she's been told that she's young and she's got all these issues. At the start, she sort of lives in a Disney bubble, dressed up like,
and does this really high pitch. And I thought you'd be annoyed by the voice.
No, well, I wondered, but I sort of knew that from a trailer I'd seen that she does that. But yeah, it's a performance that just you cannot.
Well, Dee Dee sort of infantilizes her, doesn't she? That's the thing. Like, she wants to, because they go to this convention and she wants to dress as something different, but her mum makes her go as Cinderella. And then there's scenes where she dresses as a princess, isn't it? When they go to see Cinderella at the cinema, where oddly it's where she ends up losing her virginity to Nick in a bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, and it played with your mind a bit, because at times you were like, yay, Gypsy, get away from this awful woman who's keeping you, for lack of a better phrase, prisoner and everything. And then sometimes, part of me, only sometimes, felt for Dee Dee in a strange way, when it felt like they were both being manipulative. They were both playing a game against each other, really.
Episode 6, where they flash back to where Gypsy was first born, and Margot Martindale plays Dee Dee's mum, Gypsy's grandma, and it shows why Dee Dee did what she did, and I think that is when you get that sympathy for Dee Dee. I felt 8 episodes was too many. Maybe that was just me. More stuff felt like it was happening in that back half of the season. The first half of the season was a lot of sort of context and meeting the characters, and maybe one episode left. One episode less would have been better. I don't know. But I enjoyed like the final moments more. And as you say, that performance by Joey King, where she sort of almost changes, doesn't she? Once Dee Dee is murdered by Nick, she becomes sort of almost the aggressor, the more in control person, sort of leading him, because he's quite immature, isn't he, as well?
Yeah, it's interesting what happens, though, because who's been drugged throughout the majority of her life, taking pills that she didn't need to take, and having routine that she didn't need to have, and then once they're away from Dee Dee's grasp, she's then asking Nick if he's got pills she can take even though she knows she doesn't need them. It's all ingrained in there. It's fascinating in the way she stands up to people, and I thought actually the act, it's a good title. It's either the act that they were both putting on to the world, it's the act that Gypsy was putting on to everybody else, it's the act of murder, perhaps. But I've subsequently found out that this is a continuing series, much like American Crime Story. So apparently there will be more of the act in future times. But yeah, this really took me by surprise, because I didn't hear a lot of critics good or bad. It just sort of went under the radar for most.
I heard
time.
another podcast really bigging it up, and I thought it
Yeah.
would be good. And obviously, it is quite hard to find. I mean, I don't know if you mentioned with the Stars Play that you can get a week's free trial, so you can just binge it in a week. What I liked about this actually were the Chloe Sevigny and Anna Sophia Robb characters. I felt you needed those characters sort of to be like an audience proxy,
Absolutely.
to be the viewpoint, the other people viewing these characters.
The whole neighborhood was interesting,
Yeah.
actually, the way they responded
But
to
I think
them.
Mel in particular, there's that scene where she visits Gypsy in the prison, and she says like, "Who are you, Gypsy? Who are you?" And that was, and when her father comes in as Gypsy's father as well in the last episode, and the thing that Gypsy actually, they both were incarcerated, but I think, is it 10 years she got or something like that?
Yeah,
So
10.
she wants to start a family when she comes out of prison.
She's engaged, I think, to somebody else within the prison.
Oh, okay. I really enjoyed parts of it. I felt it was a little long in places. Some of the earlier episodes I was getting slightly perturbed by, but I really enjoyed that 6th episode with the flashbacks with Margot Martindale, and actually the latter episodes I really thought Juliette Lewis was good as
She
Nick's
was very
mother.
good. Yeah, she was very good. And all the stuff where they were just trying to meet up and they were in the cinema and there was that palpable tension of
Where they were moving seats.
Yeah, very, very cleverly done. Patricia Arquette, I know you didn't really like Escape at Dannemora at
I
the
didn't
start of the
really
year.
watch it. I mean, did you watch it?
I saw it all, yeah, but I saw
Yeah.
it all before
Okay.
we talked about it. It was sort of on in November in the States and I watched it all. She's just, I don't know, she just disappears into these characters. I don't know how she does it, but I would say those two performances are some of the best I've seen this year, because at no point did I go, oh, that's an actress doing that role.
Yeah.
Joey Kings is amazing, and when you do see the real footage, you cannot tell them apart. I would urge anyone who's been interested in our preamble about it, I'm sorry we had to spoil bits of it, but if we piqued your interest, Amazon Prime Video, Stars Play, is a channel, and then within that, the act is available to watch. It's a very convoluted way of finding it, but that is the only legitimate way of finding it in the UK. There's no DVD release or anything like that, and I really, really would urge more people to start talking about it, because it is brilliant. I really enjoyed it. I didn't have that same feeling about...
I don't know what it was that I struggled with it to begin with, but then sort of got... I would recommend it because it is one that stays with you, definitely, the story. But I think it's sort of one where I had to go in without knowing the story, which, if you're still listening, is a bit odd now. Spoil the story for you. But...
I mean, did you watch a couple in one go? Did you watch it over?
I watched it over a few days, so yeah, I didn't binge it all together, but I think I watched it within a week.
There's a scene in I think it's the first episode, where she gets out of bed for the first time and walks, and that although I sort of knew that's where it was going, it still really blew my mind, because I didn't know whether she even knew at that point that she could do that.
And there's the thing about her having an allergy to sugar, isn't there, that she lies about as well. And she goes to eat squid. And there's that horrible... I just remember the teeth falling out as well. And
good God, yeah. I could watch it again. It's so good. The act
I thought you might like it because it's sort of very similar to the Versace one.
The characters are just so... I just was with them. It's just so character driven as well, that you get to know them so well right from the off, pretty much. Very, very, very good. The act on Stars Play within Amazon Prime Video, or if you're in the States and you just haven't got around to it, it is on
Hulu.